line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check.
You know, I'm already going to get a lot of questions about this, and they're going to obviously be asking the same thing. Isn't this Oval League in the name and title? Well, yeah, it was, and it is, but technically speaking, these are oval cars, so just go with it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to COTA Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas, as we present to you live here on PT Race TV, the 6 Sigma Sim Racing Oval League here on the show, and a high standard quality of 13 drivers about to take on the famed 3-mile-plus long track. This is going to be a twist and turn fight out beyond any of these drivers' beliefs. Hi again, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Tribe. Join you guys here live on the show here as we present to you the 6 Sigma Sim Racing Oval League race here at COTA. It's time to present to you the starting lineup on the field today. On the pole, the number 12, Ailton Norgard will be on the start. The outside, number 43, across the pond in the UK, the William White in the 43. Row number 2 is Jeff Oakes. In the number 22, the outside in is 21 is Corey Abbott. In row number 3, it is Austin Lauder in the 14, the outside. In the 84, Joe Gregory. Row number 4 is Parker Kelly. In the number 6, the outside. In the number 2, that'll be Chad Lancaster. Row number 5 is the throttle Chantel Bottle on the 5 are outside, and that's 76. That's Mike Rideout. Row number 6, piloting the number 20, it'll be Andrew Hardcastle. And as outside, Chris Schuessler in the number 61. And finally, starting in the final start of the field today, that will be William Ant Sr. in the 57. Field ready right now to march their way out across the track and across the plains here. This field of drivers, they have absolutely no clue what to expect or how crazy this will get. The only thing they know is it's a drive to survive, and a heated batch of drivers know this could be their wildest ride yet. Also, just want to let you guys in on our new camera system as well we got going on. We got a few new cameras chip-topped up on these cars and on these drivers. So you'll see these camera angles kind of pop up from here, there. That will kind of help us see a little bit more of the track while at the same time giving you some new angles of the cars here as we get ready to bring it down to the track here. Circuit of the Americas about to bring it set sail. We'll take a look at our track map before we bring up the actual map, but here is what they're dealing with and what they're about to be pushed on. Get ready for this one because this is about to get wild. Starting to the green flag line we go. It's race time here at COTA. Norgaard will take the early advantage here as he winds them down through the first sector. Down to the top of the hill and across the 180-degree brake turn, I'll call it, because that is a pretty much no man's land of hard race corner in action. Swinging their way through, William White immediately getting Ken Block some good measure here. He is representing it well on that Hoonigan Design 43 styled up scheme for the Toyota Supra. But his lone Supra teammate, Ailton Norgaard, right now is leading the pack as the Beechcraft number 22, Jeff Oaks, trying to hunt him down. And you can just see the different elevations, different cornering sectors, different areas. You really got to be patient here. There is no room for error, and there is a lot of room for mistakes. A lot of room for mistakes being you don't want to make any mistakes here because this place just will love to tear you up. A new one and get you into some serious trouble. And you can just see immediately out of the gate some of these drivers being very cautious and very clear on where they want to drive and where they want to kind of push their limits at. Winding straights and close corner turns, some very heavy angled spots, a lot of braking areas. This is obviously not exactly designed or really had in mind for a stock car. And you're probably thinking, well, why are we running here? And secondly, why are we racing here? Well, that's a good question. But the thing is, this is an F1 designed up track that has brought the F1 drivers in from, I believe, 2012 to now, of course, from the United States Grand Prix. And this track, by far, one of the most challenging on the circuit. Definitely going to be one of the more optimistically combative spots here. There's going to be a lot of drivers really trying to narrow and hit their planes and find their spots when they can. But really at this point here, this is definitely going to be one of, if not the toughest races they will face off at. Just for the near fact of all the corners and all the turns you just seen them have to go through. We've only just completed one lap around the track already. And Jeff Oaks, surprisingly, also keeping it up there with Ailton Norgaard, the number 12 here. Oaks, no stranger to really rocking it out here. On track slate and on track position, he knows a thing or two on how to handle it with the best of them. And he has faced off at major road courses. We've seen it many times and many more before. Michael Bollinger saying, boogity, 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 let's go racing, boys. And he says that Ransom Brack Slaps had issues going into turn one. Michael, good to have you on board here. And yeah, it's not exactly the easiest track to figure out. I've had plenty of issues here, and I will not get into too much of it. I just can tell you, I do not want to ever throw my truck back out here again. Now, that's my truck, but if I have an open wheel car, like say a Formula V or even the Toyota GR86, or even, I'd say probably one of those Formula style cars like the iRacing 04, heck yeah, I'd be using them things. I love them here. But anything stock car related or trucks, no, thank you. So I do not condone to not race here. I highly recommend racing here, but race at your risk and race at your challenge pace. It's just the stock cars and them here were not for me, but that's just me. Still a very, very fun challenge though, so maybe if I had some drivers to race up against, maybe I'd probably try it again. Thinking of trying it again here, William White here. He's been trying desperately to get that win this entire season so far. I've been looking to get a bit of a chance here and getting something really figured out and really dialed in on this track, but hasn't had much success in that flank field or that opening, and he's trying to look for it today. Looking pretty solid though, but unfortunately falling 2 spots back immediately. Corey Abbott, Oaks already kind of running off from him, and Ailton Norgaard, well, he's just kind of doing his own thing right now. But he hasn't exactly ran off from the field either here. You can see Oaks keeping a close tab and a distance on him here. putting the pressure on him and keeping the Tanks.GG at bay. And he has won literally 3/4 of this season. Actually, could be more or less. Yeah, but it's 3/4 in this case. But if anybody has been the challenger of the century, it's definitely this 12 driver. Everybody been trying to figure out how to catch him and how to get around him in terms of scope and speed on the ovals and the road courses. And he's showing you why that is, but he will not be laying down too easily here. Next gens are harder and saying after the sharp corner go from 180 to a 4-second set of turns. Yeah, that's kind of one of the bigger deals there. You really see kind of really rocking through these areas and through these corners. You got to be kind of careful not to overdrive and over-accentuate. See the right rear end there of the GameStop number 20. That's Andrew Hardcastle. Slight little dip there off the corner. Rear end could not grip as much as he would like to, causing the car to slip just the slightest bit here. You can even see just that little red line there stripped on the top of that wheel. That is where the car is center pointed and centered off at. He knows there's a lot of angles he's currently fighting with just to keep everything online. Joe Gregory though on the MR84 right now trying to hang with him here, currently on lap number 3. Safe to say we are 1/10 of the way there, but to these drivers, it's got to be feeling like an eternity out there already. Now, I will admit up front, race fans, that I've been a bit of a bad broadcaster. I'm a very bad analyst here. I had not had a chance or any credibility to study road courses, and honestly I have a hard time studying these kind of tracks because it's so big and Lincoln, so tough to really figure out and master. It's a lot of work to figure out and really call. So I do not know all the turn names and all the corner ends here, so I apologize in advance. But we'll take a look here at the replay here and see what happened. It looks like the throttle Chantal Paddle maybe just a little bit too hard into the corner here. Slips up there in the corner of the 5 here, and she ends up going straight into the sandy plains there. Thankfully, no damage or issues there. Right about now anyway. Almost lost in the corner. Great save there. We just barely missed it on our camera angle. Right, left rear this time slipped out compared to the right. Tighten up, and you can just see as well what these guys are dealing with. Chad Lancaster and Mike Rideout getting a good look and a good idea of that there. Oh my. Rideout trying to hang in there and trying to stabilize the corners down. Bollinger saying don't lock the brakes up. Well, that's easier said than done, I'll tell you that much. Coming up to the top of the hill. If you want to be on the top of the mountain, you better beat them out to the hill. Down to the peak of the corner here. Lancaster, much better corner. Sharpens up the turn. Rideout, not able to keep it up. They keep it on all fours though and keep everything under control here. So Neylan to Norgard right now, closing the gap once more, 3 seconds ahead here of Jeff Oaks. Let's take a look at the lap times here. And on lap 1, he blistered the field out of the gate, took a great lead, and then he goes into lap 2. Well, let's just say that gain was even more so, and now Oaks is losing precious time. That's 0.2 of a second. That's not 0.2 of a second, excuse me. That's 2 seconds flat, and he just lost another 0.9 there for sure on Norgard. Aylinton right now is having his way, and he's not letting anybody get anywhere near him for this one. Rolling him down through the corners, though. We're taking a look at the number 43, William White, paying homage and tribute again to the late, great Ken Block, bringing the Toyota tires. Hodogen, number 43, Toyota Supra to the crowd. Oh! And I guess taking some sky lessons, some high flying lessons from the Rallycross days of Block. Got that right rear clip right up, got some hang time, and he managed to keep it on all fours after landing there, but slows him down slightly, trying to catch up to Corey Abbott. And Abbott, really, this season has had a bit of a tumultuous one. He's had a lot of bad breaks kind of in his sector, in his situation. Felt like a few times where he should have been a winner, or should have had a chance better off to claim the victory in some cases. Darlington probably the first one that comes to mind for me, but unfortunately, though, I mean, the way of the law and the land of the rule is if you can't finish the race, and unfortunately, you finish where you finished. But he has not forgot about those times. He has not forgot about those kind of races. Right now, it looks like he's trying to bolster in momentous an occasion, trying to keep up with the speed. Trying to hunt down Jeff Oakes right now here as Oakes trying to keep his control and speed at bay. You can just see some of these twists and turns. We'll go on board for a full ride with one of these guys in a minute, but just look at some of these turns, man. Some of these corners literally, like, if you don't have a road maps, you can get lost in some of these turns and not realize where your braking point is, then it's too little too late. I know this obviously was designed for open wheel / Formula 1 drivers, but you can't tell me for 1 second that this track is not a challenge to anything that dares come its way. I will give credit where credit's due to Formula-based and GT and IMSA as well as road course drivers in general. Y'all definitely got it a lot harder than we do on ovals in terms of trying to figure out how to hit each corner and how to hit each turn. But I still say we guys got you beat when it comes to having to do that numerous times for a multitude of laps. So just saying. Although I don't know, some of these races they may challenge me on that one. I'll give them that. Chad Lancaster, some problems down there. Spins the car around in the number 2 here. The Ford Mustang able to clean back up, though. He's going to get it squared out on the track and see what he can do here. Norgard still continuing to lead the Tanks.GG number 12 machine ahead. Corey Abbott moving into the 3rd spot there, I believe on lap number 2. Taken away from William White there. White wasn't quite able to keep speed at bay and keep his control under the power limit. I think we will listen to the drivers here a little later on here, but I don't think there will really be any normal cautions or any competition cautions. I think they'll be kind of avoiding that and staying that out of the way. Look at the back of that 21. It says that's unfortunate. That's like the cruelest thing you can do on the back of a bumper. Like, everybody always says about what we're supposed to put on these cars, or like where we should put the numbers at. I'd say on every rear bumper, I feel like we have to have like a mandate. Like, you have to put something funny there or something that just gets on somebody's nerves every time you pass them. I think that'd be hilarious, man. That's what a lot of guys do in dirt racing, and I love it when I see it in the oval racing. So, evidently having a little fun out there, but I don't think at the expense of all drivers, though. I don't think they really mind or care that too much. Norgard right now leading him down in the final sectors and the final 2 corners here, coming to the big, sharp 90-degree left-hander here. Take it to our pit cam here. Just give you guys a little insight here from our flag stand how far off that straightaway is just to get to there. To then lift off to that top of the mountain climb. More trouble down there. Same corner there for the 5-6 Sigma Sim Racing of Chantel Pato here. Still struggling to keep the car under control. And again, there's a lot of cars are going to get loose. We're going to lose control here. So just kind of be working with me here, guys. There will be a lot of times I'll be kind of flipping the camera in and out just to try to catch them. Chris Schuessler here as well, the number 61. Great to see him back out here. Schuessler, unfortunately, not having the best of seasons here. He's had a bit of a bad break and a bit of a bad run on some corners and some tracks here. But still keeping his kind-hearted mind and every thought in situated. And still trying to prove he can race it out here with these guys. I think the more practice he can put in, though, and the more time he can get out there, I think he may be a guy to watch out for. Speaking of watch out for, look at this. Hardcastle, problems down onto the corner end, loosens it up, and Austin Lauder puts the foot straight into the loud pedal, into the gas light, and pedal to the metal action. The 14 moves a change, now through Slippery Slope Canyon. I have absolutely no idea if that's the actual name, but I'm going to call it Slippery Slope Canyon for this one. Joe Gregory right there with him as well. Hardcastle, still more problems here. The 20 lost it in the turn again, backs off, and the GameStop 20 loses 2 for the price of 1. But where did it all start and go from? We'll take a look at the P10 Mr. Replay and give you guys an insight on that one. Here is what caused the troubles to a brew. Watch carefully, they go up the top side here, running them right down to the field. Hardcastle, bad braking zone, and that's not where you go, sir. Lauder gets a little louder on the hood, and he brings the power. And that was when Joe Gregory also came in and took control of that one. The Not Waste number 14, Hellman's Machine, trying to helm the project and trying to helm the craft. Bullinger saying the 12 of Norgard getting closer to the 6 of Kelly. We might see Kelly getting lapped in the next lap or two. Kelly about to pass 61 of Schuessler, but won't do anything for him. Well, Schuessler right now currently just got his hands full in general right now. As for Patrick Kelly, I mean, he's already a couple laps down, actually. So Kelly has already been a couple laps down, I believe, just unfortunately due to mechanical problems out of the gate. Couldn't get the Valvoline 6 up and running. Although I will say, at least Penske-wise, it's got a very sweet-looking ride here. I'll give him that. Reminds me a lot of kind of the Mark Martin schemes that have popped up here or there. I always loved those schemes. Those Valvoline schemes were always awesome to see. Climbing it back around the track here. Oaks really killing onto the second spot here. Not by the slimmest of margins, though. He's got a lot of company coming his way. Here comes William White and Corey Abbott trying to fight it out once again here. And White, again, it just seems like the more he gets straightened down on these corners, the faster he becomes. Whereas Abbott, it's almost like he's kind of on a different little playing field, kind of been in more of a troublesome slate here. That seems to be hurting him more than anything. Chris Schuessler and Patrick Kelly having some problems down there. Looks like with both drivers getting into a little bit of a dilemma. And it really, this will give you guys just an insight on how hard Norgard has been throwing the reins at everybody. Norgard just went right into that gap, saw the opening. Schuessler had nothing for him and really should have had anything to begin with, unfortunately. Schuessler will be put a lap down. And I say unfortunately because really you don't want to get too out of control and get into the race leaders. Let the leaders run their run and then you go do your own thing. That is certainly the case here. Well, we've talked about everybody else except for really the other guy of the party, and that of course is the man that's 2 spots up. Old senior William Mann is in the house. White castling up with a 57. This is his first time ever really running a road course, to my knowledge, and so far he's holding it up okay in the 11th spots, 18 seconds ahead of Chris Schuessler. Might have a chance to keep a little bit of a distance, a little bit of a gap on these guys if he can just keep the power up. William White, Corey Abbott both getting around the 61 of Schuessler as well. Looked like I might have slowed down Abbott though a little bit. Oaks maybe not so much here. Gap straining out further as we go. Oh, more troubles there again. White just continuing to catch it just a slice bit off in the turn. And again, it doesn't look like that hard of a corner when you're looking at from the high views and everything. But again, you got to look at just some of these turns like that one right there. It looks easy, but again, these drivers are having to steer and wheel this thing as hard as they can just to keep throttle up, keep the RPMs high enough, keep momentum going, and then having to really steer clear of any issues involving around the turns. It's just not an easy challenge. It's a very difficult task, and there you go, and receipt. May have been able to hold the line down there, but that car was still trying to get a little annoyed and throw its weight around at Corey Abbott. Hangs on though, nevertheless, keeps it down onto the front straightaway here as he's leading it down into the Prout. Sharp left corner coming up. He's looking to try to catch Oaksy off guard here. He does a little bit. Now, there is one good side to these racetracks like this, is that it does force drivers to really get clever and also really figure out how to become a better driver in many cases, because it's very difficult to work around and deal with if you don't have the feel and the grip of the control of the car. Ailton Norgaard slowed down there a little bit, I believe, by the 6 of Parker Patrick Kelly here, so looks like that might be a bit of a hand here for the guys up ahead of him, but right now, Oaks, Abbott, White, they're going to have to figure their way around. They're going to deal with company right in front. William Mann Sr., the 57, trying to keep the man's maintenance machine out of the way. He's going to dive it into the right side and hope for everybody else to avoid him. He does. Oh, but that Timmy save for Parker. Oh, my. Great save there by everybody involved to avoid him off the corner, but Parker, not so much. Trouble there for the number 6 Valvoline Subaru. We'll take another look at the replay here, and it looked like he got shifted way out of balance and off the track just a little bit. We'll take a look at it. Hard charge in the corner, and again, I talked about it earlier. You just can't let the car get out of control. Great save there and great track awareness by Abbott and White. Unfortunately, though, Parker knows now he is putting himself in an even deeper hole, and that's not something he wanted to put himself in. White suffering the most from that little situation there. Oaks and Abbott able to stay ahead here, and Norgaard really just kicked up a little bit more momentum. Had lost about a second and a half there before that final corner. Now has gained it back. He's about 12 seconds ahead here of Oaks, and 12 for sure now of Abbott. Great little tussle here between these two drivers here as both guys continue to try to hold the charge and hold the line on. Nearly 10 laps pursued and completed here. And again, you're seeing all the action right now on your screen, as well as on that little right-hand corner there where the map is. That's to show you where every driver is at and where their positions are, just to keep you guys up to date, keep you up to know where everyone's at in the moment. Oaks looks like he might be giving a little bit of a run there and getting a little bit of trouble in the corners. Gentle Bottle, Andrew Hardcastle, and Chad Lancaster all having their little situations popping up, but looks like Lancaster and Pottle will have a little tussle here. Battle for the 9th spot. And Lancaster, again, saw him plenty of times here on the show. Honestly, I think he was also one of our first drivers we ever had come on the broadcast in way back when. Right now you can see him just trying to hold that line down, trying to hold that control. And this is what I was talking about, that slippery slope canyon, is you really have to be patient and controlling of the throttle. Just notice how he almost feathers it. He doesn't necessarily lift, but he's not exorbitant through the speed, through the momentum, and through the RPMs. As pit stops are now being made here, that could result in a very unique situation. Ailenton is in there first. He gets out first. White, Oaks, Abbott, all trying to hurry in, taking all 4 tires. Norgaard escapes up to the front. Michael, I'm not too sure they're going to be doing cautions at all in this race here, my friend. I think they're just going to let them ride out. White, Abbott, Oaks right now currently moving their way into the chains here. Further down the line here, first pit stops have been made. 20 laps remain. And again, we just keep going back to these guys here because they're the ones that are really trying to outrace and outmaneuver each other in such a fine line, in such a fine fashion. But it's really been Jeff Oaks, in my opinion, that's been able to kind of hold everybody off the best out of this three group. But now that he's really challenged here by Abbott, he's getting extremely close to making some moves and making some runs here. We'll see if he can handle the pressure here as he leans it back down into the next sector. The Beechcraft, Cessna, number 22, staying right into the mix here. But yet again, he's going to have William Mann Sr. right in his way. And again, when you're sharping through these corners and going through these turns, you better hope that lap traffic backs off and lets you have some breathing room. And he does, but Mann Sr. also climbs it back into the corner, gets in the way of Corey Abbott. Abbott, I don't think, is going to be appreciative of that too much. Manages to make his way around here as William White also has to maneuver through and hope to ride it out through. Abbott with some company, though, on his corner fender. William White right there on his corner and right now trying to drive him through the turns. Abbott was about to say that's unfortunate for his sake because he about lost his position there just by having to fight it with William White there for a minute. But he hangs on. Oaks, though, loving what he sees right now, knows these two battling out, gives him more breathing room to work with. Yeah, you'd think, too, these guys are battling for the lead. Sad part is, no, they're not. They're battling for second and now third and fourth, respectively. Ailton's already found himself up in Oklahoma somewhere. He's nowhere near the other packs here. He's really found himself a home somewhere else outside of Texas. He is not lifting right now. Six segment sim racing number 5 Chantel Powell currently keeping it ahead of the 14 of Austin Lauder here, as Lauder looks like he may have had some troubles earlier on here, costing him some precious momentum. There's one driver I do feel like does get a little bit unlucky sometimes. It's got to be this 5 cam because, again, she has speed when she needs it, and she's extremely good at those long runs. Same for Austin Lauder, it seems like, in terms of finding a right strategy. But just the sheer magnitude of troubles, it seems like, always hits that 5 camp. It seems like it hits more and more. Lauder trying to prove something, though, here by showing he can run it out with the best of them and see what happens here on the field. $19 left to go. Norgard already made his way through Lauder's camp here. Give you guys a little blimp cam action here. Just look at the track and the scope. Again, very, very big facility and a lot of fans tuned in just to see this one. Of course, you got the huge concert venue over there. Then you got this wide open range track, and this place just screams absolutely beautiful. Wonderful facility and extremely awesome to see place, but man, I'd be lying to you. This was a venue I think I wouldn't mind going to here. I think I would like to go here someday. Alright, well, I said earlier on we were going to talk about how hard it is to get around this place. Well, we're going on board for a full lap with Ailton Norgard. And here's the big part to his success right now. Steer clear. Watch the oversteer. Keep the RPMs up. Don't let the RPM slip. And just narrow down each corner. Hit your marks and find every spot you can. And you can just see right here. This is the reason being. You can see it slips out slightly there, but it keeps it tight. Keeps it right on the track level. And again, when you're running on road courses here, just like ovals, you want to try to match where the best area is to drive and where the best cornering off is to be CAD. Momentum is key though, and pressure is always on, and it's extremely difficult to get everything just right. Now, if you've been hanging around with us for now, congratulations, you've gone through the first half of this track. We now have the second half to begin. Long straightaways, major buildup of speed, and heavy brake, heavy brake, heavy brake. Downshift, let the RPMs control themselves a little bit. Don't overdo it. Shifting in these corners extremely narrowed down, and if those RPMs are too high, then that car becomes, well, more of a massive headache than anything. Back into the intersector here, and we are nearing the end of the finish. I believe 3 or 4 more corners left. Coming up on Whataburger Sanctuary here up on the final half. There we are, here's the Whataburger corner. The Whataburger Sanctuary end, if you will. I don't know, I think that's what I called it. And then here, finally, off into the distance, down to the straightaway. Now, if you got all that, race fans, that is COTA for you. While we were watching that action as well here, again, Abbott and White continuing to try to hunt down Jeff Oaks. Both guys still dealing with their own little situations and their own little battles. Guys like Joe Gregory 50 seconds ahead of Mike Rideout here as Rideout tries to stay in line and in touch with a drive behind him as well as the corner offs here. But everything becoming so much more difficult for the butt kicker 76 Logitech Six Sigma sim racing machine. He knows he's really having to keep a closer eye on narrow gaps and narrow areas for his MRM network camp. Ailton Norgard already put another driver on the lap down category. He's put down Kelly, Hardcastle, Schuessler, Mann, Pottle, Louder, and now Lancaster. And he's got Mike Rideout next on his list and on his agenda, it looks like. You did see him catching up earlier to these guys here. And speaking of catching up earlier here, look up for nearly a 3-wide salute entering into the top corner there on the left. I don't know if that would have worked. But Austin Louder managing to get out of the way. He's already a lap down. He knows he's out of this one. But Oaks and Abbott, oh my. Those two look like they were going to have a feast or famine there entering in that corner. One was going to get the better of the other. And it was Oaks who managed to hang on. My, race fans, a lot of heavy-duty action and a lot of control of the corners. So much pressure to be had, and feeling that momentum really start to shift and steer clear of any issues there. It's pretty amazing how they have all reacted and what they've been able to do here. Field just getting a little bit longer and stronger through the runs here. Again, you can see tire wear very critical, fuel mileage extremely evasive and tough to figure out. The drivers really, at this point, in my opinion, kind of seem like they've kind of hit a bit of a deadlock, if you will. Kind of a little bit more of a junction where no one really has an advantage over the other, and no one really seems to be getting the better of the other in terms of trying to make passes or openings. Meanwhile, those that hold on to their spot, hold on to their position, seem to be just doing A-okay here. Looks like William Mann there, and the 57 having some problems there. Went off track a little bit. Lancaster, Schuessler, and Kelly also their own little troubles, breaking too hard and setting themselves nearly off the cliff and out and off somewhere else. I mean, for a track that looks like it's so flat, again, I have to kind of remind you guys again, these are not flat surfaces. You got to watch carefully as we watched that camera footage earlier. Every corner, every spot, every drive, every top level, every bottom level, everything is literally designed with an elevation or climate in mind here. And speaking of a climate in mind, looks this up to the front. White and Abbott going back at it, and White this time he's putting pressure majorly on Abbott, but again he just can't seem to find a way to pass him around here. And again, I don't know if that's just due to the fact he's not having as much speed as power as Abbott may have, or maybe he's just not able to find a right line. But nevertheless, that 43 has got to be a little bit frustrated and fuming a little bit. They can't get this car to turn and get the corner better than Abbott is. Lining it back down that front straightaway here. Here we go now. We are halfway done with this race. Slinging right to the turn. And Abbott still holds on. White desperately just trying to get something to go his way. Maybe get some pressure put on him. Just doesn't seem to be getting that much luck or that much reserve on his end. Well, Abbott will certainly keep his run going, trying to get up there back to Jeffrey Oaks, but they are still all trying to hunt down Ailton Norgard. And race fans, when we come back, we're gonna see how this one results and finishes out. It will be commercial free from here. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after a quick commercial message. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, here at Circuit of the Americas is presented in part by our friends at Six Sigma Sim Racing, the #1 Moza and SimMagic dealer in North America, while also the manufacturer, best valued high-end sim racing chassis in the market. Bollinger saying coming 15 to go. We have been in green since the drop of the green on wood. We don't. Commentators jinx. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have any jinxing on that one there, sir. I think this will stay green for the most part. Like I said earlier, I don't think they have cautions on or limited to any of these guys, so I don't even think no matter what they do, unless they have a massive, massive wreck that takes this entire crowd for a loop, I don't think we're going to be seeing that caution flag pop it out entirely at all in this race. I think it's just going to be a race it out from your position and race it from where you're at. The flow and control. Well aware. More lap traffic up ahead here. Lancaster and Schuessler yet again getting it in the way here for Oaks, Abbott, and White there. Oaks able to make his way around as the Beechcraft number 22 still stays in line, still stays with the control. The Abbott 21 camp here. Supra's trying to stay there with the block 43. I gotta say, out of all the schemes on this track here, I will give credit where credit's due. I will probably say William White or Chantel Pottle's scheme is probably the best looking out of the bunch. I always like those stripes and stars, as well as like those kind of ripples you see. I kind of like what the Fives got. I always love the look of them things. I like some classic looks too, but man, it's just something you can't beat on some of these cars. Corey Abbott in 21 right now, moves his way ahead of Lancaster, keeps momentum high and the power up. White trying to match him and trying to get back up to him. And again, it seems like White, in my opinion, he's got the tighter end corners down. And he has more speed on the back half than he does on the first half. But the back half, he just can't seem to find the right leg and find the right time to make any moves or make any charges up there. Seems like more than anything, the car just will not be allowed to take control or take any dampering in those turns. Narrowing down the gap yet again here. 14 laps still remain. Something will give and somebody will have to let it loose or let it off here, but it does not seem to be phasing them at all here. Yeah, Lancaster, hold on down there, hold on. And the two Ford Mustang NSB machine, let's just say he found a way to be turned into the mean green fighting machine because he was fighting the greens of the grass below him. That thing went swinging right around, having all sorts of problems, and the same situation for William White. Catches off the outside there into the off-center track limits. That's out of bounds. Thankfully, it doesn't seem to affect him too badly here. White and Abbott still putting pressure on, still trying to find some leg up or trying to find some area of consistency. Lancaster at this point just trying to stay ahead of Austin Lauder here, who is actually making a little bit of a comeback here in the number 14 Hellman's machine. Jumps it ahead there of Chris Schuessler in the 61 as Schuessler struggling and fighting to maintain any kind of distance and grab here. In pit road right now, Hardcastle and Pottle both in there. I believe they're currently dealing with major damage on their equipment here. Hardcastle, unfortunately, earlier on found himself kind of in the bad place and the bad time there, throwing himself in between the wire and between the scope, and couldn't quite get the car to square back up when he needed it to. Lauder right now, currently, as we watch from our blimp cam, trying to close down Lancaster, looking for any openings, any kind of spots he can get here. The LandandSeaNSB.com too is slowed up to a crawl yet again. And that just gave about a 2-second bridge between him and the 14. Back online here once more as we continue our little showcase of what happens when you put two drivers together trying to figure out a way to pass the other and one trying to take down the other. Wyatt's had a couple of podiums, so has Abbott here, but both guys right now I think just really want that next level podium here to take a little bit further control of their season. Remember, there is a championship on the line here in these season points. Every driver for themselves, everybody always looking for their top line, their top spots here. Keeping pressure high and undoubtedly on the level playing field. Nobody is safe throughout. "12 laps remaining here. Ailton Norgard still your race leader. The Tanks.GG number 12 Toyota Supra Camp. Almost a picture perfect race, if I say so myself. And if you want to, and if you don't believe me here, well, let's look at this. Yeah, he lost about 0.3 of a second on lap 15 to Oaks, but do you want to read the rest of those times? Gain of 1 second, 2.4 seconds on some occasions. Gained back literally the 0.3 in 2 laps, and then added that second on the lap counter there. This guy right now has eviscerated and just diplomatically destroyed anything that involved racing for the lead today. He's made every right move, made every right corner, and has not lifted this thing into the ground. Eleven laps left to go here right now. Currently, every driver for themselves, just trying to hang in there. Jeff Oaks staying well ahead now of Abbott and White here. That's about a 7-second gap difference between him and the teams. He has slowly but surely kind of creeped back up to Norgaard's level, but again, Norgaard, I think at this point, just kind of taking it a bit easier. I don't know how much momentum he's given off or given back, but I mean, if I'm Norgaard right now, I probably would just be kind of keeping the speed at a minimum, but still put the pressure on. When I say speed at the minimum, I mean like just enough to where you're not losing, but you're not really having to full on gain as much as you need to from the other guys. Because again, you got such a huge lead, such a huge cushion. There's really no reason to put stress on the car, or put yourself into any areas that could cause problems. Just stay focused on your line and pretend it's practice at this point. Just cruise along, and then that's the race for you. And I think that's exactly what he's hoping for here. Auto Owners Insurance number 84 here, Joe Gregory right now. Trying to keep it a little bit in clutch, keep it a little bit in distance time here. But even it is here kind of in that throttle rhythm and that kind of speed and power he brought to the table, it's just not nearly as much as maybe some of these other guys. It's been past the Whataburger Sanctuary here. And into pit road, the 84 will go. Auto Owners Insurance will bring it in here for a little splash and go. Looks like it's some tires. And Norgaard, if he's not too careful here, could find himself in trouble. I think that might be the first time I've seen him even do a drift or somewhat of a drift there. He just reeled that thing in and kept it all under control. But again, if you overdo it and you put yourself in that scenario, you could, in theory, get a park and stop penalty here, and that would be about a 20-second penalty you'd have to endure, I believe is what they're going to be situating here. Abbott and White going to back it into pit road as well. And White actually, I didn't even think about this, he actually has finally gotten around the 21 of Abbott. I believe on lap 2 was when Abbott took control of White there. White wasn't able to find a way around him just yet. Well, now finally he is able to. Abbott desperately trying to hurry in and out of pit road. White trying to match him here. Both guys nearly dead even, but White, slight bobble going in. That is a mistake. He couldn't quite line it up and had to straighten it back in quickly. Abbott now trying to get the tires on quicker than White. He's going to get the jump. And he's going to get the spot out of pit road. White will have to surrender it. But how can he outrace him into the corner? Down to the corner. Here comes White. Yet again, tries it in tight. Oh, almost gets a little bit close to the fenders. They'll stay in control. Ho, ho. Now down through the sloped end it turns and through the corners. Chantal Bottle will be right in the way here in the 9th spot here for the number 5, Jan Lancaster. At this point, I think also just trying to stay out of the way of any trouble, but you can see again, the pressure these guys and gals have got to be feeling compared to the usual ovals and the rings they run there. That's got to be a different kind of leg up there. This kind of gives me a little bit of fright or a fear every time I see one of these things go on two wheels, because you never know, is it going to come back down or not. That's why I usually say if I'm on all four wheels, I'm happy with that. If I'm on two wheels, then I'm hoping and praying it comes back down, or we might have a problem. Maybe all for a split second, but it still is a scary thought. Speaking of thoughts right now, William Mann Sr. in the number 10 here, he in the 10 spot, excuse me, in the 57 car. He's currently going to have to serve some White Castles up at a guy that probably wants a little Whataburger, because he is finding a run in the inside. Patrick Kelly moves into the 10th position. He moves it, William Mann, back to the back. Parker, again, dealing with mechanical problems and mechanical failures from the beginning of this race, and seemingly almost innocuously changed that up completely. That's trouble. Strikes down there. The number 5 sent up Otto. More trouble down in the 5 camp. Trouble there, unfortunately, in the corners here. Take a look at the replay. Back on the gas. And maybe a little too hard here. For what it's worth, there's only just a minor spin out, but you can see Lancaster was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And then had to avoid the contact there and avoid any of the trouble that could have insisted on his end, but thankfully no hit, no run on any driver. Just a minor little fraction on a spin out. Trying to figure out where she was going, got on the brakes immediately. Wasn't sure if she was going to get the runner or he was going to get in there. And he's now also in pit road, so the number 2 has parked in pit road, getting some fuel and tires. Trying to make the car last out as long as it could. Wasn't quite going to be enough there. 9 laps left to go. And right now, Jeffrey Oaks hoping and praying for a miracle or something to go his way. Because this guy has all but tore up anyone's hopes and dreams today. And really in this season, he has just been flat out dominant. Look at that, 4/10 of a second gain there. Oaks is still fighting. Give him credit where credit's due, folks. He will not give up. He will not give in. But Norgaard at this point looks like he's just putting on kill mode and just putting on overdrive. He's letting it rip. I think, honestly, with Oaks, if you put them side by side together, if the tires didn't burn out and they were able to hold each other's lines down, I think Oaks may have had a little bit of a better chance to actually stay with Norgaard throughout this race. The problem is Norgaard has been extremely good at cornering and keeping momentum high and strong. We talked about it earlier, but if you can keep speed up and you can keep the run going, that usually indicts you on keeping the race position you're in and keeping you at a higher level here. Corey Abbott, William White, right now, holstering and bolstering, keeping pressure on, keeping everyone at bay here, no one safe or secured from hanging on. White, though, managing to at least keep them back behind and keeping them under control here, so it certainly is helping out for that cause, but same token, it has not been an easy challenge and an easy task here. Seven laps remain. Time running out. Top 5 is the only one on the lead lap, by the way, folks. That's how far some of these guys have gone around the track. Hard to believe, but it's very true. Actually, I take it back. Top 4 are the only ones on the lead lap. Gregory's actually even been passed up there by Norgard. I didn't even notice that. Parker Patrick Kelly right now having some fun here, but he's going to have more company to deal with here. William, man, look at this. Van Senior putting on a fight there to the number 6. Great showcase here for him. Haven't really been able to see him really do too much on the ovals in terms of his usual driving habits, but this was a pretty good little showcase on the road course until he made that mistake. Man, if you're watching this or while you're racing, sir, that's not a good idea to hear the broadcaster commentate how good you're doing, sir. Believe me, I've done that before. Not a smart move. Gotta stay focused on the track, and he knew it too, but he let up and he gave Parker Patrick Kelly all he wanted. Mike Rideout. Slight damage on that rear end of that corner bender there. I don't know what happened to that right rear fender, but it has been damaged up a little bit and sways up him off the track here, so he'll have some. He'll lose a little bit of power. Shouldn't do too much damage though. No big deal for him. Currently is in 8th right now, and about a full second ahead, or full lap, I should say. Excuse me, of Chantel Pottle. So don't really see any issues resolving there. Seven laps about to turn to a mere 6 laps remaining. He has not lost a single lap. He has led this entire duration, and at this point, he's really just trying to get the final ends of this race put in the books, and I think he knows it all too well. Liam White here actually looks like he may have also done a number on the 21 of Corey Abbott here. Abbott really seemed like he had an extremely strong run, 3/4 of this race in the CA car, but ever since he came from pit road or had gone into that little scuffle there with White, it looked like from there the tables turned and White was really then able to start making some moves on him. Off for the rubber strips here, moving their way down across the plains. And Chad Lancaster making a move around the 5 of Chantel Pottle. Lancaster, though, currently has already been ahead of Pottle. Pottle was just trying to get her lap back from him, but unfortunately she will not have enough of a go around there for her and the team, so only slowing her down slightly, though. It doesn't seem to be affecting her too badly. Six laps remain here on the shelf and on the track here for these guys to just finish this one out. So final 5 laps left to go. Time's extenuating out, getting further as it can be. Yeah, right now, currently just trying to stay out of trouble. We're really just trying to keep up on the playing field here, and it looks like problems yet again for William White once more. It looks like he just got a little too aggressive into a corner there and probably knew Norgard was coming behind him. Take a look at the replay here as he came around. We'll keep an eye out on Norgard here as well for a second. Just overshot the corner, looks like, and the car just wasn't quite able to stay right where he needed to. Got himself squared up. We'll see what Norgard did here while we were on the commercial break here, or in the instant replay, excuse me. Looks like it let him on by here. Yep, get him through, and there you go. Straight shoots to the gap, and on away he goes. So good on Man Jr. for not disrupting the pace here, but definitely at this point I think he knows he's kind of already lost to any kind of hope or chance here. Folks laying it in deep, still trying to make a run for it. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen before, but unless literally someone put a banana peel right in front of Norgard, I don't think they're gonna catch him this time here, Oaks. So Norgard right now currently finishing this one out. 3 laps remain here on the show. Chad Lancaster right now currently has one last little fight on his hands here. Austin Louder, you can see he's overdriving the corners a little bit. He's pushing his loud pedal in and putting the pedal into the metal. And there's a good reason why. Because he knows what's ahead of him. Unfortunately, he also knows you got to still keep the car on all fours to catch him. Lancaster able to escape even further down the road here and keep himself in contention. We're going to park it down here. 2 more laps remain as Norgaard rips his way around into the final sectors now, looking to put 2 more laps on the board. Corey Abbott still desperately at this point trying to hope for a mistake. And was that the mistake? William definitely gave him a good little look there and a little bit of an idea. But I don't know how much that'll do for him here, if that's going to be enough. White trying to bring a little tribute and a little special feeling towards the folks for Ken Block fans and all around, as well as this designed up scheme he brought to the table, and he is still rocking and reeling this thing further as it goes, trying to hang on. Abbott desperately trying, and I mean desperately trying to get some speed kicked up to catch him, and it looks like he does have a bit going on. White may have overdrove a few corners too many times, and the tires may be a little too cooked up and burnt. The gap increasingly slowed down, and it's also decreased much more than he realizes. And that's not going to help any either. Here comes Abbott to the inside on the left. Big move on the rock, and Abbott saw his opening and took it. And I guess now that back of that car really has probably put William White a little bit of a different idea. A huge, huge move just done by Corey Abbott around William White's corner end. And now Abbott looking to try to finish this one out, but he still is giving room to the 43 camp, and he's almost got him right in the corner. Smoke coming from the 43, nearly gets himself into trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, though, we are coming up. Here it is, white flag lap, this time on by Norgaard to the inside. Now Rock gets his way. Our white flag high in the air this time. Here, though, they'll lead him down to the final charge. One more lap to go. '21 and the 43 still going to do a little bit of a fight around here. They'll lead him through the Whataburger turn corner down into the final sector to the straightaway. Slight advantage there to White coming off the exit. Looks like Abbott may have slowed down just a little bit. Jeff Oaks all but secured for a second place podium here. But that third spot's still up for grabs. A little overdrive in the entry there for White, in my opinion. That was a sloppy exit. Couldn't quite grip it off the turn. I think those tires are way too burnt in, and he's lost all of it here. Abbott taking full control. Norgaard has all but also just completely nullified and taken this entire crew. for what could best be described as one of the absolute biggest beatdowns I've seen in a while on a road course. A 24-second difference in terms of the lap, terms of the scope, and now this finish between the rest of the drivers. White still hanging there with Abbott, but I don't think it's enough time here. It looks like it may not be nearly enough anyway. Off into the final sectors here. Ailton Norgard. He has won nearly every single race, all for except one or two, I believe, this season. He's going to add another one to his resume. Off corner. Final corner to the straightaway. Ailton Norgard is going to win here at Circuit of the Americas. Checker is out, and he will take victory. Jeffrey Oaks. A solid performance, and one that usually would have been enough to win out a race. Not this time around. He'll take another second place at another road course. Corey Abbott rockets it off, and he'll take down William White to finish his Circuit of the Americas trip. William White will just have to settle for fourth. Joe Gregory going to take home fifth, though, out of it all. But in this race of mind over matter, speed over control, and power over it all, this man, the number 12, Ailton Norgard, will win this race out. What a performance. It's really, again, it is so hard to top that too. What he did and how he was able to keep full control of his emotions over his car, the power at hand, and everything on display. There's really no way to explain it. It's all just predicated around how much he knew where he was at and what he was doing. It's going to be interesting to see and listen in what he thought of this one here, considering how far he just completely bolstered this field around. But nevertheless, we'll take it to our results cam here in just a moment. There are still drivers driving out the final legs of this race. Actually, I think I completely forgot about some. Lancaster and Lauder are still battling for that sixth spot. I forgot all about them. I'm sorry, guys, but Lancaster is going to defend off Lauder just by a second. Completely forgot all about that, so I deeply apologize there, boys. Alright, nevertheless, though, we now have final results popping up on your screen here. So here is the results. Ailton Norgard will win it. Jeff Oaks is going to go second. Corey Abbott's going to go third. William White will bring home fourth. Joe Gregory going to go in fifth. Lancaster holds it off for sixth. Austin Leonard will go seventh. Eighth to Mike Rideout. Ninth to Parker Kelly. And 10th to Chantel Bottle. Rounds out the top 10 in this one. 3 different nationalities displayed here. United States, England / UK, and the one that wins it out here in that American camp as well. Canada also represented in this field. As Norgard, I think, finally going to tear it up a little bit. Alright, race fans, they are now going to be joining me here on the call here. Ladies and gentlemen, your third place finisher here, piloting the 21 Toyota Supra. Ladies and gentlemen, Corey Abbott now joins me on here. And Corey, man, this was a wild day in terms of scope and power trying to get in the second spot, but when things didn't quite go that route, then it came a matter just to try to hold on for third. What was it like out there for you and this team?
It was tough to say the least. It felt like you were on ice after the second lap on fresh tires. You were fighting the people around you. You were fighting the track. You were fighting the tires, the car. There was nothing on your side. You had to fight for everything.
Fight for everything you had to earn and had to go for here. Now, I'll ask guys this too here. The final 2 laps or so, you and William White, man, talk about absolutely throwing caution to the wind, throwing everything on the line just to get the better of the two. But how much, trouble was it to kind of finally get away around him when all was said and done?
Um, well, I had tried getting by Jeffrey Oakes for like the first 2/3 of the race, and nothing doing it there. It's just so hard to get a run. I was so good in the first half of the track, but so bad in the second half. I could make up time on William, and then he'd get it right back. When he got ahead of me, it was kind of the same thing. I couldn't really get around. Um, I just I just kind of got lucky. I think, overdrove it a little bit in a corner, got a little loose, and I just kind of snuck my way in beside him and it didn't lift, and that was it.
Didn't lift, and that was it here. And nevertheless, though, going to come out as a third place finisher today. But Corey, man, who do you want to thank you for that?
I got to thank my teammates, Leighton and Andrew. Got to thank the team, Abbott Motorsports, and everyone else who's helped us. Jimmy Hayden, Ben Ruprecht, who puts this on, and you guys for streaming every week.
For sure there. All right. Well, man, Abbott, it's been a pleasure to call this one here today, sir. Congratulations on this third place finish today.
Thanks.
Corey Abbott, ladies and gentlemen, putting on a good fight from point A to point B here, but was not quite enough to hold on. Looks like Jeff Oakes is also not going to be chatting with us here. So it looks like he'll take home second place today here in the 22. Oakes, congratulations on that here, sir. But yeah, it looks like he did not really want to chat with us, I guess. So that's all right. We're just going to go ahead and get Ailton Norgard here now on the line. Ladies and gentlemen, he joins me here. Your race winner, the Tanks.GD number 12 Toyota Supra. It's Ailton Norgard, the victor today. And, well, I got to ask you, Ailton, did you really have any mind over matter on trying to give any of these guys a chance, or was this one just kind of in your mind as just going to take it and run with it?
I didn't have much confidence coming into this race at all, so I was just gonna take whatever I could get. As soon as I saw that I was able to pull away, I was just gonna run my race. It's up against the track and the car more than other people on these road courses and NASCAR, so I was just doing what I could, staying consistent and staying clean.
Staying clean, kind of keeping on the control here. I'll ask you too, man. I mean, you really had so much in the distance in the draw. Had a lot of drivers really bringing this thing out as much as you could, and yet you just seemingly just kind of muscled every corner, every turn like it was nothing. I mean, did really any turn or any corner really like get you offset or kind of in trouble at times?
There are a couple corners that can be tricky. Turn 11 going into the hairpin before long straight. The next right-hander after that um, can cause problems, but I was just taking it easy. Where you get in trouble is when you start pushing too hard. That's something that Corey was running into, I think, during a lot of the race. So I was just staying calm, collected, and just being very gentle on the throttle.
Very gentle on the throttle and keeping this one to the finish line here. Well, nevertheless, I have to ask you one last little thing here, sir. Who do you want to thank you for this victory today?
As usual, Abbott Motorsports teammates, Corey and Andrew. No, Andrew didn't have a great race, but he'll be back next week. And Corey and Ben for putting on the series, and you for casting it.
For sure there. Hey, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure to call this one out with you today here, sir. Congratulations on all this here today.
Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ailton Norgard will win it out here at Circuit of the Americas. And that We'll end another one here today. Race fans, thank you so much for tuning in. Very big thank you to our friends at Six Sigma Sim Racing as well for having us come on out and taking a little look in the Oval League action and a little road course with it. Race fans, that'll all do it for your coverage here. We appreciate you for tuning in. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time when the green flag flies.